What's going on, the Copywriting Call podcast? Your boy Lil So 2.0, the copy got himself. And today we're going to talk about Jacob, right? So Jacob, what does he stand for? The heel, the catcher, liar in wait, supplementer, leaving behind, bringing to an end, recompassing, rewarding. So I'm going to talk about Jacob and stuff like that. Last time I talked about his brother Esau, so now we're going to get a little bit more detail in Jacob himself, right? First of all, to kind of update you guys, a little bit about what's been going on so lately. Last time we talked was yesterday, right? So yesterday, about the game and stuff like that. There's nothing. Today was more of a rest day for myself as far as physically. Didn't have to do much of that. Today as well. I know it's a little bit late that I'm making this video. I didn't have any podcast people to interview on there, but I promised you guys I will have some more people as we go throughout the week. I actually thought I had somebody throughout this week, but it ended up not being somebody. So, that kind of went down. But it's cool, though. It's all worth it. Yesterday was a successful day. I was able to get all my studying done and, help growing my mind as well as growing my business. That's what's most important for me. Growing my mind and growing my business both together. And then, of course, I spent some time with my wife playing Fall Guys, which is actually a very fun game. I'm not going to lie to you. It's addicting because I hate to lose, and I keep ending up losing because it's always to that one course, the last course, that messes me up. But we're not here to talk about that though. I just wanted to update you guys on that stuff. But really what I'm here to talk about is Jacob, right? The twin brother of Esau. The younger of the twin sons of Isaac and Rebekah. But he's the one who ended up getting the birthright, all right, towards the end of the book of Genesis. Now, like I said before, Esau, when Esau and Jacob both came out, Esau came out first. Jacob was holding on to his heel. That's why heel, catcher, is one of the things that he means in Hebrew. But of course, there's going to be a deeper meaning to that I'm going to explain throughout this episode, right? So Jacob and Esau represent the animal and the mental consciousness within each of us. So remember that idea of polarity that I was talking to you about? There's two sides of polarity, right? There's the side that has Esau, which is your animal instinct, and then there's the side that's Jacob, which is your mental instinct, your mental consciousness. So, and everything, you're going to see a lot of that in the Bible, a lot of the two sides. One side is mental, one side is animal. You're going to see that a lot throughout the Bible. And that's, good. That's okay, because that's really what it's all about, right? There's that polarity, which is one and the same, just a different. I keep forgetting what the different part is. My mentor definitely told me about that. It's cool, though. Esau, the hairy man, typifies the animal, which comes first into expression. So first you have that animal instinct. This is that raw consciousness, this raw instinct and stuff before you even get to going into that mental consciousness or that, before you get to that higher level, you first have to start off with just your animal instinct, or what Dan Locke calls your lower self. It says most of the human family let him rule in consciousness, but in the line of human unfoldment, this man of nature, Esau, must be supplanted by a higher type called Jacob, the supplanter, the mentality or understanding. So it says most people really do let Esau run. Remember when I put that episode when I said don't let your inner Esau win? Most people let their Esau win and take over and everything, when in reality, you need to allow for your Jacob to take over and supplement that consciousness. Because when you want to reach that higher level, you have to really embrace the Jacob in you, or the understanding or mentality, the mental consciousness. Now, Jacob also represents an idea of the I am identity, through which the faculties of the mind receive their original inspirations. So when you originally get that feel of motivation, I remember I had a podcast guest on here, Paris, talk about the idea that motivation is fake, and motivation he doesn't believe in because he said it's fake. Because motivation is like temporary, but it's discipline that is. But that initial inspiration that you feel in the beginning of your motivation before you get to something done is your Jacob as well. Now, Jacob ends up having 12 sons, to each of whom he gave an office, and each of whom he blessed or inspired with his spiritual wisdom. These are the 12 different tribes of Israel, which, probably if I don't explain it through here, because it doesn't look like it pops up in any of my notes, in the dictionary, it will pop up later on about the 12 disciples of Jacob, right? So that's one thing that happens. Now it says the Bible narrative about Jacob and Esau has always been read historically, and theologians have had trouble trying to excuse Jacob and Rebekah for the apparent duplicity that they perpetrated upon Esau. So it's always looked at it as Jacob is the bad guy almost, right? Because he was able to trick Esau out of his blessing, because remember I told you guys about how he was able to do that in the last episode. Now it says, when read in the light of spiritual understanding or considered as a part of history of the unfoldment of the individual soul, the incident loses aspect of duplicity, and we find that it is a description of subtle working of the soul in spiritual evolution under the guidance of the divine mind. That part was a mouthful, but it's really having the idea that, this, when Jacob tricked Esau out of his blessing with the Most High, or the covenant, or his birthright, when he ended up tricking him out of that stuff, that was actually your mind actually making a spiritual unfoldment to letting the Jacob or the supplanter take over. Remember, the Esau, you cannot let the Esau win. You have to let the Jacob basically take over. It says the soul is progressive. We must go forward. The soul must meet and overcome its limitations. When you're Jacob, when you're really embracing your Jacob, it will literally take over, and it will allow you to go past any limitation. This is when you become a cleaner or a relentless person, because you will allow for your Jacob to take over no matter what. Nothing can limit you to it. Now, Esau was a hunter. He finds his pleasure in the realm of animal forces because, he's a hunter, an animal, that animal instinct, animal consciousness. The cravings of the lower nature and the ascendancy, Esau gave his birthright to appease his hunger. Remember, that's what I was saying. You allowing for that physical, what you feel. If you always do what you feel, you will never get nothing done. You have a low EQ or emotional potent. So Esau literally gave up his birthright just so that he could literally get something to eat. It says the red pot is mentioned in the scripture. Symbology refers to the life, the substance of the body. The natural man is first in man's evolution. First, that is what's natural. Then that is what is spiritual, says Paul. So first, your natural or stuff is what comes first. So that's the lower self that Dan Locke talks about. And then after that becomes the spiritual that pops up. We all agree that a strong body is required to express a strong mind. That is divine plan. So you do need to work your body just as much as you work your mind. Now, I'm saying you can't be one or the other. You need both. You can't just work your body and not your mind. Both of them need each other. And it also says that men or the new race will have robust bodies. They will not be weaklings mentally or physically. Healing of the body is fundamental in the outworking of God's perfect man idea. So it starts within, works its way out. Now, like I said, you have to work your body just as much as you work your mind. You have to till the ground, which they talk about plenty of times throughout the Bible. You have to keep working your body, keep working your mind. That's why you need Esau just as much as you need Jacob, even though they're one and the same but opposites. The natural man is not wise. Esau was a hunter and he loved sport better than spirit. So you were not a person that is truly spiritual. You were a person who is literally physical, right? He was not seeking development through soul culture. And in order to carry forward the whole man, it was necessary to supplant and suppress him. So you have to suppress your natural or nature or your animal consciousness with your mental consciousness, because your natural consciousness is not going to be enough for you to let you keep going on. This is the meaning of the deception by Jacob and Rebekah. The mental must gain the supremacy and the physical must lose prominence. So you have to allow the mental to be above the physical, but you still need the physical to be there. This is what Jacob and Rebekah did. They got Isaac, who represented the I am, or God, to acknowledge the mind as first in consciousness. The mind will be first put before the body, but you still need both. Jacob went to another country, which represented apparent separation. Now, what I'm going to do is, because the fact that this one is so outstretched, though, I'm going to leave majority of it for next time, right? So we're going to pick up from, this part right here in next Bible breakdown, which will probably be in a few days or next week. We're going to continue on Jacob because it's such a deep thing. Remember, Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. I keep telling y'all to get this one. But like I said, the point of the matter that I'm really seeing is that Jacob is what you want first, putting the mind first, but you also have to remember to till the ground or till the body. You need the body just as much as you need the mind just as much as you need the body, but you need the mind first and work your way outwards. It's always starting from within or eastward and working its way out. Okay, so just something for you guys to think, man. Food for thought. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, share this channel. If you were listening to this on a podcast, please 5 stars and give it a review. I love to read the reviews. I want you guys to keep killing the day. And just remember, more than anything, you pray for marketing like this. Copy got out.